Hello, welcome back to another sesh. It's your boy Zaki Dadunya. I don't know if I'll keep this one on. Just want to test out. I heard on my last stream yesterday that some people didn't hear anything, but some people didn't hear it at the beginning. They heard it later. And so if you do stumble upon this, by all means, let me know. Because I have a really bad time tracking if there's anybody actually here looking at this thing. By all means, if you see the live comment section, comment and, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So for this one, I just got a talk from, a really good mentor, spiritual mentor of mine. And it's ironic. I probably only get a hold of this guy twice a year. We're both busy individuals and whatnot. And it made me think when I was talking about relationships and marriage and things like that. I've never been married. I've only, but I came from a household where, divorce happened. And I've seen other people go through divorce and things like that. So it makes me wonder, if you take out the side, marriage and just normal, quote unquote, dating relationships, because I think dating is a term that needs to have parentheses on there, because dating originally was supposed to be courtship. But as cultural norms shifted, dating just basically means you go out to eat and you sleep with somebody. And then, you can move in with that person as well, which I would consider more than dating. Obviously, if you're living with somebody, it's probably a lot more serious than that. But a lot of the times when people say they're dating somebody, for the most part, and I'm not saying all, but for the most part, when people say they're quote unquote dating somebody, especially in the beginning, a lot of it is just you're just going out to eat and hooking up with somebody. I'm gonna try to keep this PG, so excuse my bland terminology. But yeah, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. Of course, for the longest time I was engaged in those activities. That's why I look at it that way, because it is what it is, right? Especially when you're young, you have these butterflies and stuff like that and these feelings, but a lot of the time I was actually in relationships with people I was in love with. I was just quote unquote dating. So that being said, the topic of this stream is, are hearts meant for breaking? And the reason I said that is because I come to a realization that people are afraid of being heartbroken. And of course, that's natural, right? It's just heartbreak means different things to different people. But I know for me, it's more than just my feelings getting hurt, right? It's a deep wound, and it's a wound that can't be measured by a medical examiner, right? If you get like a cut or something like that, or you get a bruise, obviously it's there. You physically see it. But heartbreak, you see it in different ways. You see it on the look on your face when you look in the mirror. Your confidence goes down. Your self-esteem goes down. For me, it's also a spiritual experience. It's me realizing that, let's say I'm in love with somebody and I feel like they're my quote unquote soulmate, right? And it doesn't work out. I feel this abandonment. And I do have strong abandonment issues. I'm not going to get into that. That's the whole history. But yeah, I feel this sense of abandonment, like when you really look up to somebody and care about someone and they let you down that way. It could be traumatizing is not a strong word, depending on it. I can see getting divorced as being a traumatizing experience, or especially if you have kids and started a family with this person, I could see that being a serious issue. But for me, it never really got like that. But yeah, like heartbreak it's so hard to describe for a lot of people. Like it's just, there's a million songs, there's a million books, a million movies all describing it, but every single one of those, at least in my opinion, it has a different twist on it. It's so strange when you think about it. So that being said, I think that hearts are meant for breaking. And before people get on here, if they see this and they think that this is some masochistic, quote unquote, toxic masculinity or some crap like that, that doesn't even come close. And you can take it as it is, because I'm not going to distill my truth just to accommodate your personal beliefs. I'm not going to do that. But hearts are made for breaking. And I think it's because I realize this, that especially at least in our culture, right? Um, I think people here, and this is quote unquote Western culture because we have a Disney like view on love, right? I think our views on love are really manufactured. I think people are afraid of conflict and division when they're with their partner, whether it be a partner or marriage or whatever. Like you can consider it, like they're afraid of having that division, and they only want to have that division when it suits them. Like let's say you're with somebody, right? You've been together for a while, you live together and stuff like that. He doesn't take out the trash. You're welcoming the conflict and to argue with him and make him feel like he's being lazy, right? Because it suits you, right? But you're not afraid to have that conflict. You don't want to have that conflict when you do something, right? You don't want to have, let's say his needs aren't being met. You're afraid to have that conversation. So I feel like at the end of the day, human beings are really selfish, right? The higher state of our nature is when we are selfless, right? Doing charity, charity for charity's sake, not charity to boost our egos. Let's say first responders, like people that sacrifice their lives for something better than themselves to help people. Philanthropy, things like that, right? Missionary work, if you consider that to be on the same level, like people being selfish and doing something out of just wanting to help other people, not for their own interests. That's something that most cultures, pretty much all humanity views as being a positive attribute outside of Wall Street. Those guys definitely probably consider that not the prime interest for them, but for the most of the world, helping other people is considered something divine almost, right? Not considered to be very divine. But for the most part, we're selfish creatures and we only care about suiting our own needs. And I think a lot of people, even people that quote unquote fall in love and get into these relationships, they still at the end of the day are only concerned about them, because it's very hard to picture yourself giving all to someone. And there's always those horror stories, for instance. And I think I hear this mostly from the ladies. You get a girl that's in love with this guy, and she gives him kids, children. She sacrifices her own desires to just be with him. She moves all the way around the world with this guy. Doesn't fulfill her dreams and her careers and her ambition because she falls in love with this guy, right? And then it doesn't work out, and then she's like, "What did I waste my years for?" I don't look the same. You know what I mean? Like I got these kids as baggage, quote unquote. I'm not gonna find somebody else that makes me feel the same way. And then for guys, it's like, oh well, I was in love with this girl, and then we all know that married guys, as soon as we get married, for some reason, a lot of you ladies, I'm just gonna be completely honest, this is my point of opinion. As soon as a guy's in a relationship or he's married or something like that, that's when he finally starts getting attraction from the opposite gender. Like when this guy was single, he wasn't getting no love, even though he was hitting the gym and doing all the right things and stuff like that, and working on his quote unquote game, he wasn't getting any love. But now that he's in a relationship, we all know a lot of guys, man, you guys, ladies, you guys come out the woodwork. But that's a whole other stream I can do. I'm going to actually go in hard on that because that's a very frustrating thing. But anyway, going back to the analogy in the scenario, this guy sacrifices all this stuff, stays up, committed to one woman, gives her, the dream Disney prince lifestyle, like, what I'm saying, gives this castle, this mansion to her, this all the, this decent house, her own car, what I'm saying, like, yeah, she has his kids, or their kids, but he provides the best living standards they can possibly do to them, working his butt off, stressing himself out. And then, one day she, hooks up with the pool boy and she's like, yeah, I'm dipping. Those are horror stories that we kind of like, expand and we see, and granted, those do exist. And I think those experiences are so terrible that we kind of blow them out of proportion and just make it out, oh, across the board, this is what's going to happen to you. This is like guaranteed what's going to happen to you if you selfishly act in a relationship. But that's far from the truth if you're with the right person. But unfortunately, people have great masking. You don't know who you're getting involved with until the dark side comes out. Honestly, sometimes too late. So I guess I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet, and kind of just dip out. But I just wanted to kind of get this off my mind. I think this is something I can expand on maybe in a later stream. But I think the next stream I'm going to do, I'm still gonna, it's going to be a secular topic that I think people can jump in on. But it's going to be why is it that when a guy gets in a relationship that he gets noticed by the opposite gender a lot more than when he's not? Because I'm going to be honest, ladies, for the most part, unless the guy is intoxicated or just a complete scumbag, if you're married, he's probably not going to make a move on you unless he just completely doesn't respect you. And I feel like, on the opposite end, I feel like ladies, I feel like you will respect the guy, but you still make a move on the guy if he's in a relationship. And you don't want to be honest with yourself, but I've known personally, testimonial wise from other married guys, other guys in relationships, that the average girl, this could be a friend, coworker, whatever, you guys will make a move on a guy that's taken and succumb to those desires for whatever reason. And when it happens, I think that you guys still have some sense of shame about it. So you kind of publicly don't put it out there, but it does exist. So I want to get a conversation started, and I really actually want to get my channel with more women, female voices, because I think we can learn from each other and try to understand why this happens. Because I think if we understand why it happens, we can prevent it from happening, because honestly, I don't think that's positive at all. And I think our culture needs to stop fetishizing infidelity. I think it's something toxic, and I think it's something disgusting. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that I haven't fallen for the naffs of that. Every like all this guy, every guy listens to probably a rap song or music or a song every now and then, or watches a movie about, the underdog guy that takes somebody else's woman, and look how many broken families, how many, just self-destructive behaviors have been created because of the traumatic experience of a good relationship happening. A good relationship, being destroyed. So I really look forward to expanding on that. I know I'm probably just started the channel odd term. It is the holidays, so I know a lot of people are probably could give less of a care about being on YouTube or streaming something right now. They're probably concerned with freaking dealing with their drunk in-laws and their kids running around driving them all crazy and cooking that that food for the holidays. Thank you so much. Sorry, I think I have my sound clipped out a little bit. That's something I'm going to improve on. I'm probably get a new mic and make sure that the stream works good. More flawlessly each time. But thank you so much for your support. If you happen to catch this, please like, share, and subscribe, and by all means, comment. I like to get other people's perspectives, and if you comment, I'll also give you a message with my email on there. From now on, I think I'm going to start putting in the streams. If you jump on, if you're interested, I'll put it in the StreamYard, clip the link in the StreamYard. So I'll give you my email, and then you can email me topics. And, you guys can kind of get my perspective, and I would like to have you guys engaged in the conversation as well. So thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful night. Take care.